One of the best in the National Football League, joining us from the San Francisco backfield, courtesy of the Logan Project, which I cannot wait to learn more about. Christian McCaffrey back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you doing, Christian?
Rich, what's going on, man? I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I was just opining, as I like to say, with my my Roku audience, and I'll bring it here to the radio audience, about you running the drills at the combine, the passing drills. You were the best receiver that day, as well as the running back as well. What do you recall from the combine back in the day, Christian?
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
It's the truth.
You know, the combine is such a whirlwind of a week. You know, you're being tested every single step you take. You know, it's about 4 days of meetings where you're being quizzed, you're being asked questions about defenses and blocking schemes and this and that for, you know, all the 32 NFL teams. Then you have psych tests, and those take, you know, a couple hours. They're kind of always walking you somewhere, so you're on your feet all week. You don't sleep a lot. And then, you know, you walk into the stadium where there's, you know, about 100 people in the stands, plus, you know, then you get the coaches section. And then you got to go perform. So I just remember it being a very long week, and then by the end of the week, I was like, man, I'm happy that's done. I think I was mad at my time. But I think I did, you know, well and all the other stuff. But I just remember it being a really long week, and I don't know if they do that now. I don't know if it's as grueling as it used to be, but
it still is.
Do it.
Yeah, they still do it. No, there's no. I mean, the days are long. The week is long. Were you ever questioned about your toughness, your ability to run between tackles by any teams when they were talking to you about being a bell cow? Was that brought up to you in any of these conversations during your evaluation period, Christian?
You know, I think it actually wasn't, and I think it's because of the offense that I, you know, was in at Stanford.
Right.
I think in those 2 years I ran between the tackles more than any back, and so that was part of the reason why I went to Stanford, and I was so grateful for Coach Shaw and really that whole team. You know, I got lucky and played on such a good team, and there were so many good players on that team. We had a great O-line. We had great receivers who took pride in blocking. So it was a super fun experience for me. And, yeah, like I said, I ran a lot in between the tackles. So, you know, if they were to question it, it was probably something to get under my skin and see how I would respond to it. But there was so much tape of me running power and inside zone and trap and all these different runs. So there was a little bit less questioning than I would have thought.
What's your first football memory, Christian? What's your first one?
First football memory, I fell in love with the game. I was 7 years old. I'll never forget it. We were playing in the Super Bowl at Regis Jesuit High School on the lower field, but to us it was everything. It was a blizzard. We were playing against Cherry Creek, and they had smacked us earlier that year, and went into double overtime, and they threw like a double pass, and I batted it down. We win the game, and I just remember the parents storming the field, and you know, it felt like there was confetti coming down because it was a blizzard and all these different things. Our coach got kicked out of the game. It was one of those ones, and I remember physically crying and thinking how awesome this moment was. 7 years old. That Little League team, I got to give my guys some props. We went on. Never lost a game after that, all the way up until 8th grade. We stuck together, and a lot of those guys are still my best friends today. So
no
I
kidding.
had a great introduction to football. Oh, yeah. Parker Hawks, man.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah.
What about like professional locker rooms and things of that nature? You know, Christian, any memories of that at all? Or it just the timing didn't match up because you were still just a baby when your dad was still playing? At all?
You know, I don't remember the football much. I think since, you know, as we got older, all my brothers and myself, we loved watching my dad's YouTube and look up all these different, you know, that was always really cool. But I think as a kid, I remember playing Power Rangers in the locker room with Shannon Sharp and with Rod Smith and Terrell Davis and all these different guys. And me and my brother, when we would go into the locker room, we would see who could stick their head in the ice tub the longest. And we would, you know, get the protein bars from the training staff, and you used to think those were the best things ever. So little things like that I remember, man, that bring back some great memories. You know, I was very fortunate to grow up in a locker room where they were winning and be around some professionals and kind of see what it was like from a young age.
So did you ever stick your head in the ice tub and then take your head out and see Mike Shanahan staring at you going, what the hell's going on with you, kid? Did that ever happen? No?
No, I'm sure there were multiple people wondering what was going on, but no, I never saw him.
Christian McCaffrey here on the Rich Eisen Show. Does it blow your mind that you're playing in the Bay Area professionally for Shanahan? I mean, like it was meant to be, Christian? It's kind of crazy if you think about it, right?
Yeah, it is. It's very cool. It all comes full circle. I think for me, I try to keep it as business professional as possible, and I know he does too, and I know the whole staff does. But it's not just Kyle. I mean, Brian Greasy threw passes to my dad. Anthony Lynn, Bobby Turner was Terrell Davis's running back coach, and all these Howard Griffith and all these guys, and they won Super Bowl. So he was the running back coach when my dad was on the team. You got the Kubiak connection. Multiple Kubiaks on the team. There's so many people who, have gone down that lineage of what you would call the Shanahan tree that makes it really special. So, for me, it's been cool just to learn from all these guys, and like I said, everybody keeps it professional and keep it loose, but it is special, man. It's funny how it all comes full circle, and being in those meetings is it's impressive, and it's very fun to be able to learn from all these different perspectives. That there's so much knowledge that's been passed down generation to generation. So, I'm very fortunate and lucky to be here.
In sports, Christian, you hear the phrase, you got to execute. You got the game's not played on paper. We got to go ahead and execute and make it happen. So I understand that is the usual thing you hear when a question like the one I'm about to ask you hits. But I just remember when you got traded to the Niners, I thought to myself, oh God, like for the rest of the league, don't let that really happen. Like this would be bad for the rest of the league because of the system and the rest of the players around it and you going there. I know you have to execute, but it feels like a perfect fit. And I'm wondering your perspective of having been there for just a few games and now having a full season ahead of you, of many there. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited. Like you said, it's a great fit for me. It's a great fit for really any skill player. It's a great fit for O-linemen too. I mean, the scheme is so fun. It's sustainable. It's worked forever. And, I am going to say you still have to execute it, but it's a lot of fun being able to be surrounded by, guys like George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams, Juwan Jennings. There's a great backfield. Elijah Mitchell, who's a great back. Jordan Mason, Ty Davis, all these guys who, Kyle Juszczyk, who's, one of the best guys I've been around. All these guys, man, and then add that defense on top of it, and then add the staff that we have. It's exciting. It really is exciting, and I feel like as a football nerd and as a fan of the game, I have fun going into work every day, just learning so much. And it is nice being able to have an off season under my belt where I can get comfortable with the details and the things beyond the X's and O's that I'm not learning game plan to game plan. So I'm definitely excited to be here and be surrounded by all these guys.
Yeah, and obviously Sam Darnold, who you played with in Carolina, is there now. Lance coming back from an injury. We saw what Purdy was able to do, and he's coming back as well. So I'll ask you the same question I've asked folks like Kittle and everyone else who's come here is, how do you go about your business knowing that there's kind of an evaluation at the quarterback spot and you liking all of them clearly? Like how do you go about your business on that front, Christian?
You just go about your business. For me, no matter who the quarterback is, I have to get open. I'm not thinking about the quarterback. I'm thinking about getting open, hitting the right holes, doing my job. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. So I think everybody has that mentality. It's do your job, do it at the highest level. I'm not a quarterback evaluator. I'm not People ask me all the time, how's the quarterback? I have no idea. I don't know mechanics. I have no idea how to evaluate quarterbacks. But what I do know is all three of them are amazing. All three of them are great options. I talk about Brock and what he did last year, and not just how he played, but the way he carried himself. And he's built to be quarterback in this league. Talk about Trey. I didn't get to play with Trey last year, but from what I've seen so far, Trey's been great. He's been awesome. And obviously I've played with Sam, and I know what Sam can do, and seeing all the things that he's been doing, these OTAs too. I think for us, it's nice knowing that we have three great options. And, like I said, I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. And frankly, my job is just to be as ready to go as I can for whoever it is. But I just know that, we're in good hands no matter what. And I pray to God I don't have to play quarterback again.
But you've got a hell of a passer rating, though, Christian. Heck of a passer rating on that front.
Well, yeah. I mean, I had a throw in the Philly game. It was one of the worst. Might have been one of the worst plays in my career. I told myself if George wasn't open, I'm going to throw this ball as far as I possibly can.
Yes.
I can't run it. And, I threw it about 50-something yards to absolutely nobody. But that's all right.
Hey, it's a team game, clearly. Christian McCaffrey here on the Rich Eisen Show. A couple more football questions, then we'll hit the Logan Project. So when I've had many offensive players from the 49ers on over the last few years, they have a story where Kyle Shanahan says, this play's going to go for a touchdown throughout the week. We'll run it at a certain time. This play's going for 6. Have you had an experience like that with Kyle yet, Christian?
Where he
comes up with a play and he's like, "We execute it. This is going big," and then it does. I think, you got one of them?
Yeah, I think one of the best things as a player is when you know that your coach has confidence. And I think when you sit in those meetings and you really understand the scheme, not just your job, but you start to find out that there's a purpose behind every play. And when you know that purpose and you're able to understand what the scheme's trying to do and how it's supposed to set up other things, it makes it so much fun playing football because you know what Kyle's thinking, and Kyle, is trying to get us to know what he's thinking because, like I said, the scheme's worked. It's worked for a really long time. I think it's the most sustainable scheme that there is, and so it's up to the players to execute it because. In my opinion, when he does say, this is going to be a big play, I think everybody perks up because they know that it could be real.
And then, you're 26, Christian, not telling any tales out of school. The NFL writ large appears to think of a shelf life for running backs being age 30. And Austin Eckler approaching that right now. He's a premier touchdown maker in this league, as you know. He had to twist some arms to get even some incentives out of the Chargers prior to the summer. How do you view the running back position and how the league views that position, Christian?
Oh, no one's asked me this question yet, but I do have opinions on it. I think when you look in history and you look at what the running back position has meant to football, they touch the ball more than anybody. And I look at guys like Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders and some of the best to ever do it, man. And these guys played. They didn't just play a long time, but they played well for a long time. And I look at Derrick Henry as another example. Derrick Henry's older than I am, and the guy's done nothing but produce. I look at what Saquon Barkley brings to the Giants. I look at what Josh Jacobs brings to the Raiders, and Austin Eckler. All these backs. I mean, I could name Dalvin Cook. All these backs around the league who have done so many amazing things for their team. They've been clutch. They carry the ball. They catch the ball out of the backfield. They provide, multiple threats. They have to, they create mismatches. They make defensive coordinators think. And I think there's a lot of value to that. And somewhere along the line, the running back position has been undervalued, in my opinion, for what they're asked to do. And I think there's a lot of guys that are afraid to speak up about that, for multiple reasons. But I don't know when the value of a yard got diminished. And, I'm for everybody getting paid. I love when guys, earn money and are able to feed their families and have, life-changing, generational-changing money. It's such a special thing because we all work really hard. And it's fun, man. It's a blessing. It really is. And so when I look at what, receivers make and slot receivers make around the league, and then you look at what running backs make, we're at the bottom of the list, and you got backs who have had 2,000-yard seasons. You've had backs who've had 750 to 800 yards receiving, and a lot of people use the injury argument, but I don't know if that's necessarily valid when you look at some of the receivers who have been hurt who still get big contracts, and so. I understand we touch the ball the most, but in my opinion, I think we create a lot of value in doing so as well. So there's a lot of arguments multiple ways, but I definitely think somewhere along the line, the franchise tag and what the market did to the running back position, I think they're definitely undervalued. And I think if you ask the running backs around the league, they would probably say the same thing.
Christian McCaffrey here on the Rich Eisen Show. Tell me about Logan Hale, who he was, unfortunately, why we're talking about him in the past tense, and the Logan Project, please, Christian.
Yeah, first off, thanks for letting me talk about this, because this
Please.
is, something special to me and near and dear to my heart. But Logan Hale was a 12-year-old boy who unfortunately passed away from cancer. And he was a big fan of mine, and I found out through somebody in the NFL whose nephew went to school with him. And I signed a few items for him while he was in the hospital, and I was pretty touched by his story. And I found out that he had passed away, and he was buried in my jersey. And that really hit me. And in his obituary, he had come up with the amazing idea that he wanted to create his own charity that provided Xboxes and gaming systems for kids across the country, across the world, so that they could connect with their friends who are at school. That was one of his favorite things to do, was play video games with his buddies at school while he's undergoing treatment and undergoing things that no kid deserves to go through. And so, I thought, man, this is a 12-year-old kid who has, he was a football player. He played all different sports. He was into the arts. He was such a versatile young kid, an impressive 12-year-old boy for being not even a teenager. And here he is undergoing one of the worst things a kid can go through, and thinking of other people and thinking of how he can make other people's lives better. And so I took it upon myself. I'm like, this is the best idea ever from a 12-year-old boy. And now I want to make his name live on forever. I really do. And I think, when you hear stories like that, and when you're touched by stories like that, I think it's our obligation to do just that. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to provide Xboxes and gaming systems and into hospitals for children so that they can connect with their friends and, even family time, right? Like you can't go into a hospital room all the time. There's limited hours where you can do that. And so there's a lot of alone time for these kids. And what a great thing to do, to be able to connect them with their buddies, and not just their buddies, but NFL players and some of their favorite players, just to give them an hour of, a break from the things that they have to go through. So
normalcy,
we have
normalcy and connectivity and community and love and
right.
and maybe take their minds off of the awfulness that's in front of them, and maybe give them hope about, hey, I can't wait to do this when I get out in person with my friend. I mean, it's beautiful on so many levels, Christian. Beautiful. I can't applaud you enough.
I appreciate. We're so excited about it. We've had so many amazing people help out. There's people with the Xbox team and the Microsoft team who have been great. People all over the Silicon Valley area who have been so generous with their time and money. And so on June 3rd, we're having a massive Madden tournament on Twitch. There's going to be eight players. Some of your favorite NFL players. It'll be guys like myself and Greg Olson are going to be announcing it. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then we'll have Saquon's doing it. Von Miller's participating. Fred Warner will be there. Juju will be there. A lot of big name guys. Austin Eckler's going to do it. Dalvin Cook. Some big name guys who are going to be able to see who's the best Madden player, but not just that, but raise a lot of money for to make this happen, to make Logan's dream come true, and we couldn't be more excited about it. So that's June 3rd. It'll be streamed on Twitch, and all the details will be all over my social platforms and my foundation platform. And so anyone who's wondering where they can donate, I'll make sure on all my Instagram and Twitter and all that, I'll have a bunch of details. But we're excited about it.
As well you should. TheLoganBowl.org is the website. Tiltify.com/The Logan Bowl is how you can donate. And you'll see a donation from this show in short order, sir. This is beautiful. Nothing's more awful, obviously, than a child being sick. And to make anything better, normal, and healthier is exactly the way to go. It's awesome, man. And again, that's June 3rd. And we'll talk about it all next week, too. We'll do that here as well. Christian.
Rich, I appreciate it, man.
You got it. Before I let you go, since we're on the subject of living life to its fullest while we can, 1 week ago, Christian, I had Bert Kreischer on this program. He told a story that is, needless to say, gone viral. Anything he does is viral. But he told a story about you and him after you visited one of his shows, and him offering you $10,000 to chase you down and get you. Is that true, Christian? Is that a true story?
That's a true story.
What?
Yeah, Bert's one of the funniest guys I've ever been around.
Yeah.
It was so cool to be able to go to his show and hang out with him a little bit after, but those guys can get after it, man. I'll tell you that much. And,
What happened from your perspective? What happened?
He asked, he said, do you think for $10,000 in this, I don't know, is 20 by 25 foot room, square foot room,
Yeah.
do you think if you gave me, I don't know, what was it, like 3 hours or something, like, do you think he could tackle me or like take me down?
Yeah.
And I mean, he's in a full sweat. Just paint the picture. He's in a full sweat, about 9 to 10 beers deep, and he's has his shirt off, of course, and is asking me this question. And for a moment, I was like, you know what? Maybe with the confidence level you're at right now, you might be able to do that. Like, I think you'd take 10 steps and you'd be out of breath. There's no shot that you could even make it to 3 hours. You take a nap from hour and a half to 2. But I told him, I was like, there's Bert, there's guys that train all year round, get paid a lot of money to try to do that, and still can't do it. So I don't know if you got a chance, man. We laughed about it. That was a really fun night, man. He's an amazing guy. His new movie's out, The Machine.
That's it.
So
yeah.
Everybody should check that out. But yeah, it was a great night with great people.
Yeah, he said he acted in a way that made you question what sort of party that had been turning into, is what he said.
I did wonder where this was going. He had a serious look in his eye. Like, I might have to lace up.
Yeah. Christian, thanks for the time. I appreciate it. I'd love to do this more often whenever you want, certainly when you're in Los Angeles. Congratulations on this idea and you making it happen. It is a beautiful thing, man. The Logan Bowl coming up on June 3rd in honor of Logan Hale to get Xbox to kids in hospitals as they come back from cancer, the Logan Project. Thanks for coming on and talking about it.
Rich, I appreciate it, man. We'll see you soon.
You got it. Thanks again. That's Christian McCaffrey at Christian McCaffrey on Instagram. Check it out on all of his social media pages right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Dynamite, man. Dynamite conversation.
Great.
That is a world-class individual and smart guy who is excellent at the football. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.